Now, buckle up because things are about to get really interesting.
Oh, here we go.
When Alex Hormozy asked Ramsey about his personal investment philosophy,
Uh-huh.
that's when some serious wisdom bombs started dropping.
Yeah, I love this part.
We're going to get a glimpse into a side of Ramsey you don't always see.
He talked about sticking to what you know and love when it comes to investing.
Yeah.
And he even shared a story about advice he gave to another guest, Graham Stephan, which had a huge impact on Hormozy's own investment strategy.
Yeah.
He told Stephan to invest in areas where he had the most expertise,
Right.
basically leveraging his existing knowledge base.
That makes sense.
And you know what?
What?
Hormozy took that advice to heart.
He did.
Instead of going for traditional real estate or stock market investments after, like, a liquidity event,
Right.
he and his wife, Leela, focused on business acquisitions.
That's a pretty bold move.
It is. It goes against the grain of what we usually hear
Totally.
about investing.
Yeah, it's like, forget trying to time the market or chasing fancy financial instruments.
Yeah.
Invest in what you understand.
And that's exactly what Ramsey does.
Yeah.
He learned from wealthy individuals
Right.
who made their fortunes by sticking to industries and assets
I knew.
they knew inside and out.
Think about it. Farmers investing in land, car dealers collecting classic cars, entrepreneurs reinvesting in their own business.
It's about aligning your investments with your passions and expertise.
It makes sense.
It does.
When you understand something deeply,
Yeah,
you can make smarter decisions and feel more confident about the risks involved.
I agree.
And Ramsey puts it perfectly.
He does.
Put money in stuff you understand and you love, and don't put money in stuff because it sounds fancy.
So simple, but so profound.
So good.
Really is.
But before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, we can't ignore the elephant in the room, Dave Ramsey's famous stance on debt.
Yeah, we got to talk about it.
Even Alex Hormozy admitted to being debt-free,
Yeah.
crediting Ramsey's book, Total Money Makeover, for shaping his perspective.
It's a classic.
It is.
Ramsey's views on debt come from personal experience.
Yeah, he lost everything in his 20s due to over-leveraging in real estate.
Right.
Forced him to confront the dangers of debt head on.
That experience, plus his study of scripture
Yeah.
and observing successful people, led him to his debt-free philosophy.
It's interesting. He even highlighted a fascinating difference between how risk is calculated in business versus the investment world.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about this.
He pointed out that investors are taught to adjust for risk when evaluating assets.
Uh-huh.
But business owners often forget this,
They-
leading them to underestimate the downsides of taking on debt.
So interesting.
He even challenged a group of MBAs on this concept, showing how traditional business analysis often overlooks the volatility and risk associated with leverage.
Yeah, it makes you think, right?
Yeah,
Are we being too casual about debt?
I think so.
Should we be more cautious about taking on financial obligations?
I mean, Ramsey's own journey shows the power of minimizing risk and building a solid foundation on cash flow and smart decisions.
It really does.
And his statement, "Bring on a pandemic, I got cash,"
I love that.
speaks volumes about the peace of mind that comes with living debt-free.
That's the dream, right?
All right, that's a lot to process.
It is, Hugh.
But we're just getting started.
I'm ready for more.
Bring on a pandemic, I got cash.
That's right.
That really stuck with me, that sense of security and freedom that comes from being financially stable.
It's powerful, isn't it?
It really is. But let's shift gears a bit and explore what Ramsey would tell his younger self, knowing what he knows now.
Okay, yeah.
So imagine you could go back in time, give yourself some advice. What did Ramsey say?
He actually kept it pretty simple.
Okay.
Play incremental long ball.
Okay.
Don't look for the home run.
So he's saying slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. He's basically cautioning against that get-rich-quick mentality.
Right. That can lead to some bad decisions.
Exactly, yeah. It's about focusing on consistent, sustainable growth rather than chasing those flashy short-term wins.
So instead of swinging for the fences every time, you're saying it's more about getting on base, hitting singles and doubles, and gradually working your way around a score.
That's a perfect analogy.
I like that.
Building a business, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Right?
And just like in a marathon, you got to pace yourself, conserve your energy, and focus on making steady progress over time.
And that means accepting that there will be setbacks along the way.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Ramsey actually admits that Ramsey Solutions has had its fair share of failures.
Oh, really?
More failures than successes, in fact,
Hmm.
both in terms of the number of projects and the amount of money lost.
Wow. That's pretty surprising to hear, considering how successful he is now. But it's also kind of reassuring, you know?
Yeah, I think so too.
It shows that even someone like Dave Ramsey isn't immune to setbacks.
Right. And that's the key takeaway here. It's not about avoiding failure altogether, because that's impossible.
Yeah.
It's about learning from those failures,
Okay.
adapting your approach, and coming back stronger.
So embracing those mistakes as valuable learning opportunities.
Precisely.
I like that.
Ramsey even encourages making mistakes, as long as they're experiments that you survive.
Okay.
So each setback is a chance to, test a hypothesis,
Yeah.
gather data, and refine your approach.
That's a great way to look at it. Instead of fearing failure, we should see it as a stepping stone to success.
And remember that powerful metaphor Ramsey shared
Oh, yeah.
about success being a gleaming mountain, which turns out to be a pile of garbage and mistakes that you're just standing on rather than laying under.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
It's so true.
It's a reminder that success isn't always glamorous. It's often built on hard work, perseverance, and those lessons we learn from our missteps.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about something that's constantly evolving,
Yeah.
the media landscape.
Okay, yeah.
Ramsey has successfully navigated this transition from traditional radio to podcasts, YouTube, and even TikTok.
I mean, he's everywhere.
He really is. But it's not just about being on every platform, is it?
No, there's got to be a strategy behind it.
Right. He emphasizes the importance of being what he calls platform agnostic.
Okay.
So basically, he's willing to go wherever the attention is,
Uh-huh.
but only after testing and measuring results.
So it's not about blindly jumping on every new trend. It's about strategically allocating resources based on data and audience engagement.
Exactly. They have a data-driven approach to content creation and distribution.
Mm-hmm.
For example, they've seen tremendous success with YouTube Shorts, but they view those as lead magnets rather than standalone content.
So instead of trying to pack a whole financial education into a 60-second video, they're using those shorts to pique people's interest and draw them into their longer form content.
Exactly. The goal is to guide people to The Ramsey Show, Financial Peace University, or their books, where they can dive deeper and get more comprehensive guidance. It's about creating a content ecosystem that caters to different learning styles and consumption preferences while consistently leading people back to their core message.
That's a really smart strategy. But creating content for all these different platforms can be incredibly time-consuming.
That's true.
Right.
And that's where Ramsey's mastery of repurposing comes in.
Okay.
He mentioned they rarely create original content specifically for YouTube Shorts or other platforms.
So working smarter, not harder.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They leverage their existing content from The Ramsey Show and other programs, cleverly editing and repackaging it for different platforms and audiences. It's a brilliant way to maximize their content's reach and impact while streamlining their production process.
It's like they've created this content machine that's both efficient and effective. Now, shifting gears a bit, let's talk about Ramsey's approach to building company culture.
All right? Yep.
He shared a few key principles that have shaped his leadership style over the years. First and foremost, he stresses the importance of surrounding himself with people who are smarter than him in specific areas.
That makes sense.
So he's not afraid to admit that he doesn't know everything,
Right.
and he actively seeks out people who can fill those knowledge gaps.
Yeah, he recognizes his strengths and weaknesses and builds a team of A players who complement his skill set.
So it's about building a diverse team with a range of perspectives and expertise.
Exactly, yeah. And he also emphasizes the importance of clear communication, open feedback, and fostering a culture of trust and respect.
Okay.
He wants his employees to feel comfortable sharing their ideas and challenging the status quo.
It's about creating an environment where people feel valued and empowered to do their best work. But it sounds like he also believes in giving his employees a lot of autonomy.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Ramsey believes in empowering his team to take ownership of their work
Okay.
and make decisions without needing constant approval. He encourages them to experiment, take risks, and learn from their mistakes, just as he has done throughout his career.
So it's about fostering a sense of ownership and accountability. He wants his employees to feel like they're truly invested in the success of the company.
And that, in turn, creates a more engaged and motivated workforce.
Yeah, it makes sense. Now let's move on to something a bit more complex. Ramsey's views on the American dream. This is where his personal experiences really shine through.
I agree.
You know, he's been very outspoken about his beliefs, particularly when it comes to homeownership and material possessions.
Right. He challenges that traditional narrative of the American dream, which often revolves around acquiring stuff.
Yeah, like the big house, the fancy car, all the latest gadgets.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's not saying those things are inherently bad,
Right.
but he's cautioning against the pressure to keep up with the Joneses, accumulate debt, and live beyond your means just to achieve this image of success.
So he's encouraging people to define success on their own terms.
Right.
And prioritize financial freedom over material possessions.
That's right. He wants people to feel empowered to make choices that align with their values and goals, not societal expectations.
And that includes questioning the idea that home ownership is always the best path to wealth.
He argues that renting sometimes be a more prudent financial choice, especially for those who are still paying off debt or building their financial foundation. It all boils down to analyzing your individual circumstances, considering your long-term goals, and making decisions that work for your unique situation.
So he's advocating for a more personalized and nuanced approach to finances rather than following a one-size-fits-all formula.
Precisely.
And he's also been critical of the student loan industry, right?
Yes, very much so.
Arguing that the rising cost of college education and the burden of student loan debt are holding many young Americans back.
It's a big issue.
It is a huge issue. So he's basically saying that we need to explore alternative paths to education and career success.
Right, trade schools, apprenticeships, or even starting your own business.
It's about thinking outside the box.
Exactly.
And being open to unconventional paths that align with your passions and skills.
You don't necessarily need a fancy degree to achieve your goals.
It's about challenging the status quo and empowering individuals to create their own paths to success. And his perspective on these issues stems from a deep understanding of the financial realities faced by many Americans.
I think that's what makes him so relatable.
It is. He's witnessed firsthand the devastating consequences of debt, financial mismanagement, and the pressure to conform to societal expectations.
And his message is all about taking control of your finances, making informed decisions, and building a life of financial freedom and security.
Now, before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, let's circle back to Ramsey's thoughts on leadership. Throughout the interview, he sprinkled in these nuggets of wisdom about building a strong team, fostering a positive company culture, and inspiring others.
Yeah, he did. It's clear that he believes in leading by example, demonstrating integrity, and always putting the needs of his team and customers first.
It's about being more than just a boss. It's about being a true leader who inspires and motivates others.
Right. And he also touched on the importance of work-life balance and creating a company culture that values both productivity and personal well-being.
Yeah.
He acknowledges that people need time to rest, recharge, and spend time with their loved ones to be their best selves, both at work and in life.
So important.
Isn't it?
It's about creating a sustainable and fulfilling work environment.
Absolutely. All right, we've covered a lot of ground in this part of our deep dive.
We have.
In part 3, we'll explore Ramsey's thoughts on generosity, his insights on navigating the digital age, and his advice for those who are just starting their entrepreneurial journey.
We're wrapping up our exploration of Dave Ramsey's world, and in this final part, we're going to delve into his views on generosity, navigating the digital age, and his advice for all the aspiring entrepreneurs out there.
You know, we've talked a lot about Ramsey's business savvy and his practical advice on debt and investing, but what really struck me throughout this interview was his emphasis on something that often gets overlooked: generosity.
Yeah, I agree.
It's clearly a core value for him, not just in his personal life, but also in how he runs his business.
It's like generosity is woven into the fabric of Ramsey Solutions.
Yeah, it really is.
But it goes deeper than just writing checks to charities, right? It seems like it's more about a mindset, like a way of approaching life and business.
Absolutely. He believes that giving back is more than just a moral obligation.
Right.
It's actually a source of joy and fulfillment.
Yeah.
He even talks about generosity as an investment.
Oh, interesting.
Something that creates a ripple effect and leads to positive change for individuals, families, and entire communities.
So it's not just about giving money away, it's about giving back in meaningful ways that have a lasting impact.
Exactly.
And, you know, he's not just talking the talk.
Right.
Ramsey Solutions is known for its philanthropic efforts.
They are. They support a wide range of charities and organizations that align with their mission of financial empowerment and community development.
Yeah.
They put their money where their mouth is, which is always inspiring to see.
Definitely adds another layer to their success story.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, Let's shift gears a bit and talk about the digital age.
Okay.
We've touched on this throughout the interview,
Yeah.
but I'm curious to hear more about how Ramsey views the challenges and opportunities presented by the internet and social media.
Yeah, he seems to have a very balanced perspective.
Okay.
He acknowledges the challenges, the constant influx of information, the need to adapt quickly to new platforms and technologies.
It can be overwhelming, especially for businesses trying to stay relevant
Totally.
and reach their target audience in this ever-changing digital landscape.
Exactly. But Ramsey encourages entrepreneurs to embrace technology
Yeah.
and leverage its power to connect with customers, build their brands, and scale their businesses.
So he's not afraid of the digital world.
No, not at all. He sees it as a tool to amplify his message and reach more people.
So it's about being strategic and using technology to your advantage.
Absolutely. He cautions against getting caught up in the hype,
Yeah.
chasing every shiny new platform or trend.
Right.
He emphasizes the importance of sticking to the fundamentals,
Okay.
building genuine relationships,
Right.
providing value,
Yeah.
staying true to your core values.
That's such a great reminder. It's so easy to get distracted by all the noise in the digital world.
It is.
But at the end of the day, it's about connecting with people on a human level.
He also encourages building a strong online presence,
Okay.
creating engaging content, and using social media to connect with your target audience.
Right.
But he reminds us that technology is just a tool. The human connection is what really matters.
It's about using technology to enhance and amplify your message, not to replace the personal touch.
Exactly.
Okay, now as we wrap up this deep dive,
Okay.
let's talk about the advice Ramsey has for aspiring entrepreneurs.
All right.
What are some key takeaways for those who are just starting their journey?
He encourages aspiring entrepreneurs to be passionate about their ideas, be persistent in pursuing their goals, and to be prepared for the inevitable challenges and setbacks that come with building a business.
It's not going to be easy.
No, it's going to take hard work, dedication, and a lot of resilience.
But he reminds us that success doesn't happen overnight.
No, it's the result of consistent effort, a willingness to learn and adapt, and a relentless pursuit of excellence.
It's about having a long-term vision and being willing to put in the work to make it a reality.
He also encourages surrounding yourself with a strong support system,
Yeah.
seeking out mentors and advisors, and never being afraid to ask for help.
It's about recognizing that you don't have to do it all alone, you know?
Right.
Building a successful business often requires collaboration and support from others.
And finally, he emphasizes the importance of personal growth, continuously learning and developing your skills, and investing in your own personal and professional development.
So it's not just about building a business, it's about building yourself up as well.
Exactly. He reminds aspiring entrepreneurs to think beyond just profits and consider how their business can make a positive impact on the world.
It's about leaving a legacy.
Yeah, he wants us to create something meaningful, something that leaves a lasting legacy.
That's a great note to end on.
It is.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Dave Ramsey's world, what are some of the biggest lessons we can take away?
Build trust, embrace incremental growth, invest in what you know and love, be generous, navigate the digital age wisely, and always strive to make a positive impact.
And never forget, as Ramsey himself puts it, bring on a pandemic, I got cash.
That's right. That's the kind of confidence and peace of mind that comes from building a solid financial foundation and living a life of purpose and generosity.
This has been a fascinating exploration of Dave Ramsey's world. We hope you found it as insightful and inspiring as we did.
Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep diving deep.